he had a post he tagged me on today, and he said that if you can't manage your finances being in an apartment, then and you're out trying to buy a house, you're gonna have even more.
If you want the boss's view, you gotta sacrifice. If you wanna move like bosses move.
YMA, Young Millionaires Association. Yeah, see, that's the association. Joe.
All right, guys, welcome to the YMANation podcast, episode number 47.
47, guys.
Episode number 47. Man, it still seems like it was yesterday.
I know, right?
Yes, so guys, thank you for joining us today on Wealth Building Monday. I am Joe Wallace, and this is
Rebecca Wallace.
And we have some really exciting, this is going to be a really good episode.
All right.
It's the 5 traits of millionaires.
Interesting.
Before we get started, guys, make sure you like down in the comment section, hashtag YMANation. Just so you know, for February, this upcoming Friday, for Friday football, we'll do the drawing for everyone throughout February who hashtag YMANation
Okay.
in the episodes throughout the month. And they're going to go into a cash drawing. So, guys, make sure you hashtag YMANation. Make sure you hashtag YMANation down in the comment section so you can go into the drawing. I got an even better drawing for you guys, too. $2,000.
$2,000.
$2,000, guys. Make sure you are on our YMANation Facebook page. Every episode we post it on Facebook.
Right.
And then, guys, make sure you share it. Every time you share it, you go in the drawing on Facebook, like, and down in the comment section on Facebook, hashtag YMANation. So you got multiple chances to win at the end of the month.
So what's the goal? 2,000 subscribers?
2,000 subscribers. If we hit 2,000 subscribers, we are going to do $2,000, which we will.
We will.
If you guys have been following us back in early December, our goal was, hey, by the end of the year, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, we would do a drawing for $1,000. And we did.
Yep.
And we actually, since it was the end of 2020, we increased it to $2,000.
Yep.
So we chose 20 people, and each of those people won $100.
All right.
So just like this one, 20 people will win $100, and you have the chance to go into the drawing multiple times.
Sounds great. You ready, guys?
5 traits.
5 traits
of millionaires. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that I always preach, and that's plan, pray, and execute. So as I'm going through these 5 traits, remember the most powerful, I feel, is execution. So as you hear the steps, you just got to think. You have to constantly apply these things in your life. Execution is key. They say knowledge is power, but if it's not applied, then it just sits there dead. So knowledge is power if it is applied.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, being able to take responsibility for your actions. That's a common trait of a millionaire. So when you have your goals laid out, no matter if it goes in a positive way or a negative way, because you won't win every time.
Right.
So when things just don't go as planned, being able to be accountable for it and say, let me step back and what could I have done better? Most people that fail in life because they don't have that attribute, they always look for an excuse,
a way out,
or who can I point the finger at?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, well, this didn't work because of this person didn't tell me this, or this person didn't do their part, or this process didn't work. But they will never say, you know what, the process didn't work because I failed to do these steps.
Right.
I see that all the time.
Yeah.
But being accountable is a trait of successful people and millionaires. They are always accountable for their actions and being able to adjust. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or you just someone out there that have a normal job, when things are not going as planned, you may work 9 to 5, hop up, brush your teeth, shower, get dressed, head to work, and when you get to your car, the car don't start. And the first thing that you think is, this car sucks, it don't work, like it's old, I can't afford anything new.
Right.
But you have to be accountable and look at yourself and say, okay, and why am I not in a place where I can afford a car that I won't have these type of problems?
Right.
And it's okay, because everybody look back, especially when you're young, and if you didn't have the education, then you didn't know about credit, you didn't know about saving. So then you have to say, okay, well, I didn't know then, but how can I apply these things now?
Right.
Now that I have the
Right.
information. And then even more important is to pass it on to your children and to those around you in your community to make sure that they have the information so they don't follow that same cycle.
Right. Right.
Number 2 trait of millionaires is, and I love this because I be putting money everywhere. My money cannot sit in the bank. If it's sitting in the bank, I'd be like, why are you asleep? What, get your butt out there and work.
Right.
My money has to work for me. It come in and it goes out. Multiple streams of income is a trait of millionaires.
Right.
You can't just say, I'm going to rely on one source of income. Millionaires are always looking for, okay, I made X amount on this project, okay, and I want to invest in this too, and I want to put some into this also, and I want to see my money constantly out there, moving, working,
Right.
and bringing back money. Money, go work and come back with
Right.
more. Money, go work and come back with more. Multiple streams of income. Don't rely on one source of income. And a perfect example of that is the COVID, right? So people had jobs and then they got furloughed, but that was their only source of income. So it put a lot of people in our economy in a bad place.
Well, you even see it with startup business owners who are maybe working that 9 to 5 and have that steady income coming in, but instead of getting themselves to a place where they can afford to go full-fledged into their business and allow their business to them sustain their income, they'll just say, oh, well, I'm going to quit my job. I want to do this business, but they have no plan of action of where they're going to get money from in the meantime.
Right. I see people always say, step out on faith.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have faith. I agree. You have to have faith in a plan.
And a plan. And a plan.
In a plan. You got to have a plan, right?
Right.
It's okay to, because I'm 100%. You have to have faith. You have a dream,
Right.
a vision. You got to have faith.
But it has to make financial sense.
To make financial sense.
You still have a car payment. You're still going to have rent. You're still going to, or a mortgage. You still have, a light bill. If you have children, they're expensive things. They're expensive little people.
They're expensive. She called them their. They are.
They're expensive little people.
Yeah.
Or big people.
Right.
Or whatever. I mean, in general, you still have life. You still have the money is constantly going out. So if you don't plan, then you could put yourself in a bad financial
business plan. I'm not saying you got to have a 40-page plan, but you have to have some type of idea, even if it's wrote down. You just can't say, I'm going to start this company. I'm going to sell eyelashes, and I want to sell them for $10 each. But you don't know how many that you need to sell to replace your income. And you can't say that I make $3,000 a month. So if I sell these for $10, then all I need to sell is 30.
Yeah.
Right? No.
300.
300. Yeah. I gotta wake up.
You
And
got to.
I'm a mathematician. I'm good with math. But yeah, but then you just broke even, right? Because how much did you have to actually
Pay for the
pay for the lashes? So if you
and
paid
marketing
right,
and
you paid $5 for it, and you
Right.
sold them for 10. So really, you
made
made
$5.
right $5.
Yeah.
And then if you sold 300, then actually you only made 1,500.
Right.
But you was normally bringing in $3,000 per month from your job. The next thing is, this is going to be interesting, and you're going to love this because it goes to your realm
Okay.
of your profession. Is the third trait of millionaires is they target paying off their home early.
Right.
So they average having their home paid off in 11 years. So like the normal home mortgage is
30.
30 years. You hear from the expert. They try to have their home paid off in 11 years. That's over half the time to have it paid off.
Right.
So how? I'll throw it out there and I'll allow you to elaborate on it. But there's plans out there like a mortgage. Instead of doing a 30-year mortgage, there's a 15-year mortgage.
Right.
And that'll help you to.
Well, I mean, it just shortens your mortgage time. The payments may be more expensive, but you save in interest. Another way is if you do need to do the 30-year, because you have to think of it two ways. If I'm getting a 15-year mortgage, my mortgage payments are going to be higher for a 15-year mortgage. My interest, I may save in interest over time, but my mortgage payments are going to be higher. That means that my debt to income ratio has to make sense, which if you watch the real estate, then you understand what then you understand what debt to income ratios are. So I'm not going to take your show. So that has to make sense for you to be able to qualify for something like that. Right. Which if you're a millionaire, then your debt to income shouldn't be a problem to be able to do that.
Unless you're trying to buy like $1 million home.
Right.
It had to make sense though.
Then it's got to make sense. If you're, a person getting a mortgage and you're saying, well, I still want to save that money, but I can't really do a 15-year, you can still do a 30-year. But if you make one extra mortgage payment per year, then you can save 7 to 8 years off that mortgage. So you could actually have it paid off in
22 years.
Right.
22
years.
years.
Right.
One.
So, and you have to make it to the principal only. So when you do your extra mortgage payment, it has to be principal only, not interest. Principal only, one payment a year.
Right. So what that means is if your mortgage payment is $1,000 per month, on average, probably when you first starting off, it's like almost like 40-60, right? 40% is going to the principal and 60% is going to the bank.
Right.
And that's the interest.
Right.
But what we actually learned was even when we purchased our first home, that our agent, well back then, she said, when you guys do your taxes, take your tax payment and make an extra mortgage payment.
So
genius.
Yeah. But make sure you apply it to principal only.
Principal only. So if your payment is $1,000 and you make that extra payment, that $4,000 is going to take off the balance of the loan.
Right. Right.
And just to make sure that they understand the part too about the, what did you say, the 15 year? So on the 15 year, if you have a 30-year mortgage and you cut it down, and if you do a 15-year mortgage, instead of paying $1,000 a month, you might be paying like $1,400 or $1,500 a month.
Right.
But you have it paid off in 15 years. So that's 15 years of paying $1,000 per month on a mortgage that you won't be paying.
Right.
Which is 1,000 times 12. That's 12,000 a year times 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, long term, you're going to save a majority of that is going to be interest.
I started off checking it every other week, just like most people do. Then it got out of control. I couldn't help myself. started checking it day after day after day. I didn't realize that I was becoming addicted until my wife said something.
What did she say?
She said, it's just a credit score, relax.
Are you checking your credit score?
Hold on.
You're gonna save that in interest, of
Right.
course.
And that's just money that you throwing out the door
Right.
that goes into the bank's pocket.
Right. You just have to make sure it makes sense as far as your debt to income ratios and things like that.
And then the other thing that they do is that first property, they normally use that first property. They might move out of that property and keep the property, move into a second home, but keep that first property and rent that property out.
I'm going to tell you, I can't tell you how many people have messaged me over the last week looking for rent to own properties.
Yeah.
I mean, huge, but you know, I want to just sit down with all of them and be like, why rent to own when you can just buy, get your credit where it needs to be and buy.
Yeah. Some people think that, you know what, I know it's going to take a year to get my credit where it needs to be. So in the meantime, during that year, since I got to move out of my apartment, how about I get into this place and just rent to own?
It's typically more expensive.
Yes, it's more expensive. And then there's a lot of things that could come along
yeah.
to it. So, but that's in another episode.
Yeah.
You guys got to go back. Real Estate Wednesday. The next thing is, as a millionaire, a trait, number 4, is millionaires do not accept failure. That's a trait of millionaires, is they do not just allow like something to happen that's like a roadblock or a challenge, and they just stop and say, well, you know what, this is not going right. Let me quit. Millionaires, they always what?
I was pointing at you.
What?
You don't accept failure.
Oh, I don't. But that's why we're talking about traits of millionaires.
Right.
And you're talking about the masses of millionaires, so it's just not my opinion.
Right. And it's not really like you won't experience failure. It's that you don't just quit when that failure happens.
Everybody experiences failure.
Right. You're going to, or you're going to get told no. Or, you know, whatever the case is, that may be a hindrance to the ultimate goal that you're trying to reach.
Walt Disney, when he was trying to launch, he got turned down dozens of times. Like, no, I'm quite sure people were like slamming doors. That don't make sense. No, what? Cartoon characters, drawings.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. And how much you trying to build a park? Like, there's no such thing as parks out here. But he had a goal and a vision, and he would just not accept no.
Right.
And can you imagine all the challenges he had throughout the time of especially down in Florida, when like I was going back reading a book and like, man, like this didn't happen right. They wanted it to be a grand opening. That didn't happen because of the funding didn't come through
Right.
as they expected. But he just, okay, you know what, we can't start on this date. So we just have to have it pushed out.
Right.
You'll
just
be
adjust.
You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. But that is a trait of a millionaire, just never stopping. Once you have your plan in place, unless it's just like, okay, I made a bad decision.
But Damon Fubu on Shark Tank,
Yep.
he talks about all the time, like his experiences, like when he's analyzing people and their products and what he went through to launch everything and to get where he was and the sacrifices he made along the way to be able to do that, and how many times he was told no as well.
Right.
So, I mean, it's out there. You're going to get told no.
And not just being told no, as you go through your journey, things are not going to be perfect. Like no millionaire, no entrepreneur, no business owner is going to tell you like, you know what, I started 10 years ago. And this has been the easiest thing I've ever done. Like every day it has been like this for the last 10 years. It's been like a dream. I wake up, everything goes flawless, and I come home and hop in my hot tub and get
It's
a
just
cigar
great.
and my cognac and my cigar, and I just hang out because every day it has been just beautiful over the last 10 years. No one.
Well, I think another thing to point out would be that when you're in a position to where you are a millionaire, that's probably when you are going to endure more stress
Oh, yeah.
and more issues. So, and we talk about this sometimes too. If you can't get past these small issues when you're right here in your life and you're trying to build up to here, there's no way, I won't say there's no way, it's going to be very, very difficult for you as you progress and deal with more issues when you get to that level, because it doesn't get easier.
I was tagged on a post today from Reggie Rock, and he was on last Monday. So if you didn't see it, go back and watch last Monday. It was really
Right.
good because
Yeah.
he went back into like his life. And that's a perfect example of being able to endure through your struggles and your challenges and still end up on top.
Right.
Truly starting from like
the
rock bottom
bottom.
and getting
Right.
to the top. But he had a post he tagged me on today, and he said that if you can't manage your finances being in an apartment, then and you're out trying to buy a house, you're going to have even more responsibilities
Abilities.
trying to manage everything with being a homeowner.
Right. Because then you're responsible for if your HVAC goes out, not the maintenance people, not the, homeowner people that you rent from.
Budgeting, though, that's even more important.
Right. You have to budget for the problems that may come up. And in business, I mean, just think about, we operate multiple businesses. My door is a revolving door every day of not just problems, but questions, or, hey, I got this, or I got that, or, and if you can't problem solve for everybody else and yourself,
Keyword, problem solve.
right, then, I mean, you just get to a point where it's going to overwhelm you.
Yes.
So
That's something
you have
that you
to be
learn,
able
though.
to,
Yeah, you have
right.
to be able to adjust, and just like can't fold and be like, man, it's just not going right. And I talk to at least, like, I would say 2 to 3 people a day. We keep it real on our show, but not a day. I mean, like at least a month. I talk to at least 2 to 3 people per month out of hundreds. There's always going to be like 2 or 3, I know for a fact. And they're either going to call me, they're going to text me, or they're going to go online and send me an email or whatever. Like, Joe, I don't think this thing is going right. Either it's with credit or their business. And me, I go off of data. That's one thing about me. And everyone who complain always know I'm going to pull up data. And I could tell you, and I hate to say this, but 100% of the time, when someone says that, especially with credit, that I don't think I've been with Master's Credit for 5 months and I don't see my score moving. We being real on the show now. I've been with Master's Credit for 5 months. I don't see my score moving. And I say, you know what? Let me look into your file, because I know there's always going to be reason. There's no way that someone could have credit repair for 5 months and their score not move. I'm going to tell you the top factors. They start and then they get a new collection. So they could have 10 items deleted from their credit, and they could have went from a 580 to a 700, but here comes a new collection in month 2, which dropped them down probably 60 to 80 points. And then in month 4, there goes another new collection. So it's not that you're not getting the results, because you have to look at what has came off my credit too, right? So am I doing my part? Am I preventing these new things from holding me back? And that goes back to the thing that we were saying earlier as being accountable.
Right.
Part two
taking
is
responsibility.
got to be responsible. I think that's something that a lot of people fail at. And I don't think it's them as an individual, because I look at like our children, how as they grow. I think it's like a lot of the parents have to hold their children accountable so they can learn that trait that, you know what, I can't just push the blame off. She ready to jump in.
I was going to make a post on Facebook, and I didn't, because a lot of times
you have to be careful.
I have to be careful.
Yeah.
Following directions.
Oh, yes.
Is essential in life.
And being successful too.
And being successful. If I say, here's the directions to bake a cake, you have to put
X amount of
flour, X amount of eggs, sugar, and you have to mix all this stuff together, and then you have to put it in the oven at 400 for so many minutes, right? If you leave out one of the ingredients, your cake ain't gonna be right. If you don't bake it long enough, it's not going to be right.
And
if you bake it too long, it's going to burn because you did not follow instructions.
That same person is going to say, my cake didn't come out right because I know they said to put X amount of milk in there, but that didn't seem right because when I stirred it, it seemed too milky. So, you know, I added more flour, but then it came out all puffed up and it didn't look right.
Right.
But
them directions just couldn't have been right.
But it's just being accountable. Oh, so that was one.
Yeah.
Number two is when someone starts our process and it is to a T. I mean, I don't know too many companies out there have a process where you have your own assigned rep to your file and they send you out an update every month that tells you, hey, look, you need to do this, this, and this. You had a new collection, this. Hey, I haven't got mail from you. Hey, like outlining everything that you have to do because it's a partnership. Like, so if you want the results, you have to partner with your rep.
And then the supervisor jumps in.
And then the supervisor jump in like, hey, I seen your update. Make sure you doing this.
Right.
There's no other company out there that works like Masters Credit Consultants. And then that person to get to month 5 and say, I'm not seeing my scores move, but you have no credit cards. So you don't have anything positive on your credit to drive your scores up. But my score's not moving. But in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, and month 5, your rep told you, hey, you need to get a credit card. Here's the link. Here's the link.
Here's the link.
Click the link, get a card because you got to start building credit. Mm-hmm. Be accountable, people. I tell you, like when we see those updates and that person say, man, I don't see my scores moving.
And as someone who is visual and very involved,
and care. That's the main thing. Care about seeing people get the results.
Not just us sitting here on this podcast, but we have an excellent staff who, like, I can only tell you how. I mean, they get traumatized.
They take it personal.
Yeah, they take it personal because, you know, they see it as a team. You're their person. You know, you're with them.
You're their baby. Yeah.
And so when you're not doing things that you're supposed to do, or they're not being able to help you and see the results that they want to see you get, it's, you know, it affects them as well. You know, so I really, we're blessed to have staff that cares like that. Not everybody would,
right?
But they really do take it personal. They really do. So just, you know,
follow the process.
Yeah. And
not just talking about credit, like anything. If you're whatever your goals are, there's so much information out there. Like you could buy books, you could buy software to download. Follow the process.
Yeah.
Follow the process. The last thing is being consistent. Like this a trait of millionaires is always being consistent. They have a habit, you know, whether it's getting up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, going to check the emails. But as their day goes on, whatever task they have, whatever their goals are, short term and long term, they're always consistent.
Right.
Right. And you like from emails, they respond. From phone calls, like everything, they're always trying to do things to push their business and their dreams further.
Right.
So they're always being consistent, and it's a good thing to create a habit. Create a habit. Emails, respond, check your emails, people. It is 2021. You would be amazed at how many people don't check their emails. And I understand that you get a lot of junk mail, but
not even that. I think that it's crazy because you would think in the world that we're in, we have cell phones, we have computers, we have tablets, we have every electronic device that you could think of. But the lack of communication, like people don't know how to communicate. They don't understand how to thoroughly communicate anymore. And I mean, I think that's a serious problem.
Maybe because of social media. But what I was alluding to was when I say check your emails is because I know when I looked at my mom email, she got like 1,400 emails and like probably 1,000 of it is spam, 1,200 of it probably is spam. So people just say, I'm getting all these emails and it's just too much. I'm not going to check my email. Like 100 came in a day.
Right.
On your road to success, though, you have to know how to prioritize. So if you know that there's a project that you are involved in or you're trying to work towards something, I'm going to look every day for this one. Even though I have to put in a search word, like whatever it is, money, $1 million, whatever the project
whatever it is,
if it's a property,
real estate,
I'm going to type that in my search word. I'm going to be checking for that every day. Especially if I'm expecting it like around a certain time period.
Yeah.
I'm going to be checking. So guys, it is 2021. You guys have to become more proficient in knowing how to check your emails. Yep. But those are the 5 traits of millionaires. And I always tell people, master your craft. I want to see you guys take this and turn it into a craft of yours. Take the instructions and the directives and start applying these steps. I could guarantee if you apply 2 of the steps that we talked about today and just it becomes a habit, watch how your life change.
Yeah.
Just watch how your life change. I could promise you that because it's hard to fail when you are following the steps of success. Guys, thank you so much. Wealth Building Monday, episode number 47.
Yes.
Make sure you hashtag YMANation down in the comment section. Make sure you go on our Facebook page and go to YMANation. And when this podcast is posted, which it is already, go and share on Facebook. And you will go into our $2,000 drawing down on Facebook. Go into the comment section and hashtag YMANation. Then we'll go into the drawing twice. And if you like it, if you like the post, your name will go into the drawing 3 times. And if you hashtag YMANation down below, if you stay, a lot of people watch this. The keyword, which down in the comment section, there's a new thing. It's back again. You got to put the keyword is called millionaire.
You gotta sacrifice. You wanna move like bosses move.
YMA, Young Millionaires Association. Yeah, see, that's the association. Joe.